Hi, all right, this is Uncle P. I want to do this video on losing trades, all right, because there was somebody who had posted a question yesterday from my video that I shot on yesterday, which was May 3rd, right after NFP, and it showed my winning trades of USD Swiss and GBP JPY live. And so they asked about my winning percentage. They asked about, do I lose trades? And then, somebody else had asked prior, do I ever lose trades? And yeah, I do, like anybody else, and I'll talk about that. And then they asked about repaying the indicator. So I'm gonna kind of address all of those on this particular video, okay? So number one, let me talk about losing trades. Every professional trader loses trades here and there, all right? Every professional trader will lose a trade here or there. It's okay, no big deal. So for me, and I'm gonna talk about me, yes, I lose trades like anybody else. However, with our trading system, I actually have a methodology, if you will, called the reset. Okay, and I teach this to my team. So looking at yesterday's video, and I'm gonna explain it from yesterday's video on GBP JPY, because you guys literally seen me live on camera make 113, 120 pips, something like that. I forgot what it was. It was up there. It was some nice pips, right? So you didn't see what happened right before then. So I'm going to use that as an example, because since you're asking today, you can easily go back to yesterday's video and see exactly the setup that I'm talking about. So number one, to address the second question while we're addressing this one, I do use a predictive indicator, because I'm going to answer two questions in one. I do use a predictive indicator, which is a repainting indicators. A lot of traders say, I don't use no repainting indicators. You do your thing, okay? No problem. I do. Because if I understand its purpose, then I don't have a problem with it. And what I do is I use a predictive indicator along with two, and actually more than that, several confirmations that we do before we take a trade. But I use that one, and we only have one repainting indicator, but we use it in combination with multiple others that confirms that do not repaint. They're called reactive indicators. So only one out of the tools that we have in our tool chest will repaint. Other than that, none of the rest of them do. So when you use them in combination, you have a pretty solid team of trading trading tools that will give you pretty accurate entries and exits. Okay, but here's the point: the reason why I use that particular one, it was designed to act as a weatherman. Okay, and I'm answering your question. Then you're going to go back to your charts after this is over, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So the predictive indicator, the big arrow that you see, it is a repainting indicator, which is called a predictive indicator. What it does is it acts as a weatherman to kind of tell me heads up when a large move is going to play out in the near future. So for an example, like a weatherman, if a weatherman comes on camera and says, hey, there's going to be rain today around 6 o'clock. Well, two things I know. Around 6 o'clock, I'm anticipating what? Rain. So what do? I carry an umbrella. When 6 o'clock hits, the rain is not here yet. Do I get mad at the weatherman? No. I'm still prepared for what? The rain. About 6:30 or 7 o'clock, lo and behold, here comes some rain, right? So the weatherman cannot be pinpoint precise on the actual minute that it's going to happen, but was the weatherman correct? Now, in your country or wherever you're from, sometimes the weatherman they just not no good, right? So that's a different story, but typically, you know what I mean. So they gave me a heads up that it was going to rain, so I prepared myself accordingly, and sure enough, when the rain came, I was protected from it. Why? Because I had a predictive indicator called the weatherman telling me what's about to happen, and then I used it in combination with my umbrella, which is a reactive indicator. It reacts to things that happens to let me know, hey, we're prepared. And when you use those two together, I'm protected from the rain. So how does that work out on our charts? The big arrow does repaint. It's precisely designed that way, because its job is not to pinpoint and tell me when to get in. Its job is to tell me when a big move in the market is about to happen. So I don't need it to point and say enter here, because that's not its job, right? But when I use it in combination with the two smaller indicators, which their job is to say here, get in here. So now you have one that says it's about to rain, and then the other two say get in here. When those two are matched up together, you have a powerful team. So going back to answer the question now, with that explanation. If you go back to your charts and look at exactly from the video I showed you yesterday on GJ, if you look just prior, okay, you will see on that 15-minute entry where I was, the two smaller arrows were sitting right there. They did not repaint. There was two smaller arrows just slightly above the entry point where I got in at, okay? So pay attention to this. The big weatherman was right up there with those two. I entered there. And then what happened is I went to sleep during the London session, quote unquote, the London breakout, which most of the time I never enter those kind of trades with a GBP or a Euro USD before London. Why? Because the London breakout, it's money stealing session. Okay. They do that stuff all the time. But nevertheless, I went for it. Right. So nevertheless, yeah, I got hit with a stop loss of about 15, 20 pips, right? After the London breakout. But when I woke up the next morning, I still trusted my system. I waited for those triple arrows to reset. And when they reset, you can see clearly my entry. My entry was precise. It was crispy. And then what happened is the thing shot up just like the weatherman said. How many pips? Over 115 or 20, 120 pips, whatever it was. It's live on camera. Go back and look at yesterday's. So was the weatherman wrong? No, the weatherman was perfectly fine. Do you see why I keep why I keep that repainting indicator? Other people say I will never use a repainting indicator. You don't have to use it, but when I use it with my combination of my tools that I provide to my team members, it is crispy. I love it. Okay, I love it. So what I did was I converted my losing trade into a winner, because if I made about 120 pips, let's just say, I think it was roughly around 120 pips. So let's just say 120 pips. If I made 120 pips, but I lost 20 in the process, am I not net profit up 100 pips? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I don't really discuss losing trades, because I know how to convert them back into a win. Number two, here's the other thing. I am a person who typically likes to record my trades live, so that, because I know there's a lot of people who will go ahead and record something after the fact, after it happened. I'm just not one of those people who like to do that. I like to record the trade live so you can go back and verify them on your chart. The problem with that though is that if you have already lost the trade, it taps you out. So there's no way for me to go back on camera and show you a losing trade while it's live, because that's what I like to do. So, the other question. So let me give one that was a loser. Okay. Because here's how I handle losers. Okay. As a professional trader. So if you look at AUD/JPY this week, I jumped in that one and my stop loss got hit. And then I jumped back in on the reset and then it got hit again. Right. So what that told me, and most traders who are immature, they don't realize this. Okay. And I'm going to give you a teachable moment. I'm teaching a lot of stuff all at the same time, if you understand. I'm answering your question, but I'm educating you at the same time. So what I realize as a professional trader is if my system is telling me that this is supposed to happen and it gets hit twice, I just don't go back in. There's so many other pairs to trade. I'm good. I just move on. Right. Because what I understand is you have to understand that the Forex market is actually a market that has to do with other countries' economies. The moment you place your trade on for a buy or sell, you're not just looking at indicators, Fibonacci lines, retracements, trend lines. That's not what we do to kind of predict, because you're a predictive indicator. You're trying to predict where the market going. You're a predictive indicator. See what I'm saying? That's what you do. Okay. So the point is, it just giving us a heads up with all those tools of where, because I know some people, I don't trade with no indicators. I trade naked charts. You still a predictive indicator. You become the indicator because you're trying to indicate where it's supposed to change. No problem. I don't care what your style is. Okay. I don't have no arrogance like that. My point is that when you lose a trade, sometimes it has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that there is something going on in that country that will affect that country's economy, regardless of how much you do your markups, your whatever. And so if that is the case, I just move on to something else, because I realize, hey, for an example, when the U.S., when we had about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had the U.S. had just slapped tariffs on, I think it was Libya or something like that. That affected the oil prices, and then turned around, and then there was another break. No, yeah, that was Iran. the U.S. slapped tariffs on Iran, I think it was, or something like that. One of them countries that have to do with oil. Turned right back around, and Libya had, which they still have chaos going on, riots in the street. All of that affected the CAD and the oil pairs. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, no, yeah, I took some losses because it had nothing to do with my markups, my charts, my indicators. It just had to do with the countries is wilding out. And so if that's the case, I just have to move on, wait for those countries to calm back down, and then the motion of the ocean will go right back into play, and it'll abide by the normal rules of trading. Okay? But if that is the case, hey, I'll just move on. No big deal. So for an example, being completely transparent. So on this one, on AUD JPY, I got hit twice, 20 pips each, right? No big deal, because here's the deal. If I lost 20 pips, and I want you guys to do this math, and I'll be done. If my stop loss of 20 pips got hit, just say 20 pips, roughly give or take regardless. I'm just using a general number. So 20 pips hit twice. I'm down 40 pips. That don't feel good. Then I get into GBP JPY. I get hit again for 20. I'm down 60 pips. Oh my gosh. Do I panic and fall out? Absolutely not. Why? Because one trade can make back not only what I lost, but give me profit. And I know that as a professional trader, following my rules, following my system. So here's what happened. That one trade alone, what you seen on camera that had 100 and something pips yesterday. So you do the math. If I lost 40 pips on 2 AJ trades, and then I just said, okay, it must be something going on with the country, I'll move on. Then I turned back around and lost 20 pips on, just said we roughly 20 pips on GJ, right? So now I'm down 60 pips. Am I still falling out and having a spasm? No, because as soon as I got back in on the reset, it made 120 pips. So do the math. If I'm down 60, but then I made 120 pips, watch what happens. Am I net profit 60 pips? Not only did I make back my original 60 pips that I lost, but I also made an additional 60 pips on top of that with one single trade. And that does not even include the USD Swiss that worked out perfectly in addition to that. So either way it goes, see, as a professional trader, I don't fall out when I lose trades. I don't need to, blast out and do this and that. And it's not that I'm hiding anything. It's just that with the reset method, if I'm trying to do live trades on camera and the trade has already been hit, there's no way for me to go back on camera to show you a losing trade other than to do like I'm doing now to show you, hey, go back on your own charts. You've seen that I made 120 pips, but go back and you'll see that, yeah, I took a 20 pip hit overnight during the London session, but I made it right back. So either way it goes, for me, my average win rate, because that was your other question, what is my average win rate? On a average, if it's not too much turmoil around the world, I average about anywhere from 85 to 92% win rate. That's about average. Okay. Average about 85 to 92%. If it's a really, really bad, like 3 to 4 weeks ago where it was just like chaos all over the place, my win percentage went down to about a 75%. Okay. And there's nothing I can do about that because why? I'm dealing in entire countries' economies. And here's the thing. If you're dealing with people who's always telling you that they got 100% win rate, I would run, to be honest with you. Now, I'm not saying they're not telling the truth, but me personally, every professional trader knows you're going to lose a trade here or there, but we know how to handle it in a professional manner. And we always tend to make it back plus profit on the next go round. So we really don't count them as losses because we know how to make it right back and convert a losing trade back into a win. So that's what we do as professionals. Okay. So I think I answered all of your questions. I hope I did. I'm going to post this video. If there's anything else, sir, please ask me. Any person out there, if you want to shoot me an email and I can answer them. Normally I don't answer emails and stuff on the weekend, but if you have any other questions, I'll be more than happy. I'm a transparent person. I ain't trying to hide nothing. It's not that big of a deal. It is what it is. I love our system, but we do lose trades. We take it on the chin like a champ, but then we come back and convert them back into wins, or we just move on to another trade and we still come out, can make hundreds of pips like I post live trades. So if my stop loss it's getting hit for 20 pips, but as you can see, week after week after week, I'm posting live trades of 100 and something pips, 75 pips, and this and that. You can still see how I'm still rocking net profit week after week after week, even with losses. So it's not that I'm hiding anything. It's just that not that big of a deal to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm a consistent trader. I know how to convert them back. So there it is. So if you have any other questions, you can always private message us to supereasyforex@gmail.com, supereasyforex@gmail.com. And if I can't answer, we do have some other people who may be able to jump in and respond to you over the weekend, because most of the time I'm with my family anyway. I don't like to take time away from my family, but we'll get back to you, okay? And if you want to just join our team, you're ready to go, just go to supereasyforex.com and go ahead and join, because we got massive announcements next week. Oh my God, y'all think we the bomb now? Wait till after next week. Woo, y'all go love us for real. And those haters who's hating on us, oh, you gonna hate us even more. But either way it goes, we got some powerful stuff for the team. So team, if you're looking at this, I've already posted in the Telegram private group make sure you're in that meeting on Monday at 3 o'clock. If you're a paid member, be in that meeting 3 o'clock on Monday. Oh, I got some good fire stuff for y'all. I love y'all to death. All right, so I'm out, sir, who asked this question. I respect you. I love you. I even took this Saturday time, which I normally never do, but I did it because I want to honor your question and let you know I don't avoid anything. I'm very transparent. It is what it is, okay? All right, have a great day. Hopefully this helps answer your questions. Bye.